Okay, I think it's working now.
Oh,
Oh
amazing.
man, sorry. I don't know. It
I mean, I have
stopped
no
for some
idea. I
reason.
have no idea how to do this stuff. So, but it was only the first time where I see the window and I get to click the button.
Okay, don't worry.
Okay, amazing.
Um, okay, let's start from yeah, Barcelona. So, do you still have a restriction to not leave the house 200 meters?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, I go out in the street with my carrito. I take this thing everywhere. This is like how I hide in plain sight. I'm very grateful for this device actually.
How?
Um,
You're
I
doing
go
what with the device? Sorry.
I basically use that. I'm there's a market in
So you're
between.
going shopping.
So I go by way of the market every time because technically you're not supposed to exceed one block, which is insane to me. But that's still the case, and I've seen several people getting tickets, and I've seen a few people actually getting arrested, which is wild. You know, they drive through the streets and they just say it in a polite way. Everyone, please stay at home. This is the law. You're doing, you know, you're saving lives, that kind of thing. So
Wow.
they're doing it in a positive way, but it's crazy when you do see people getting stopped. There'll be all the people from the balconies because you know no one has anything to do but to watch the streets or TV or read, I guess.
And the
So
people from the balcony are then fining or like
yeah, they
telling the
engage with the
police.
police and yell at them, and I mean it doesn't prevent them from getting a ticket, but it does make it a nice little soap opera.
That's funny.
Yeah, but I mean, I can't complain. I'm definitely it reminds me of being a kid a little bit. You feel like you're doing something wrong sneaking to the studio, but I think it's good for my physical and mental health. So I think that's a really important thing for everyone in this situation to just make sure that they're looking after their physical and mental health, and everything else will take care of itself.
Yeah. But I think it's still maybe better than being in New York right now.
Oh, for sure. I mean, I also, just as being like a first generation American, and also I'm very patriotic, I think I would be more depressed, actually. And I know in New York they're doing the same thing where they clap for all the people in medicine, but it's a really moving thing here in Spain. They do it with such like glamour and valor. It's amazing. You because where we are, we have the back courtyard balcony and then the one to the street, and it's interesting. The acoustics make it louder in the back, but it's more
Wow.
beautiful in the front because you have all the trees. You can see everyone, and you look to your left and your right, and you can see everyone. It's really animated. It's a really nice moment, and it
Are they
happens
doing it
every day.
every day?
Yeah, every day at 8
At
p.m.
what time?
Yeah, at 8 p.m. And it's funny because it's almost like it makes you think about when they originally used to use like big bell towers for means of communication because it carries like that. You hear one person, whoever is the first person, and people aren't necessarily looking at their watch. They're just hearing the sound and then they go outside, and it's super nice.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Also, these, street prayers or street
Oh,
musicians or people playing from the balcony. It's quite
totally.
beautiful what's happening.
Yeah, in the studio sometimes there's like a group of girls that like sing songs. I can't remember the name of it. I think it's like something Iglesias. It's the father. It's like he's an old musician, but he's great. And you can hear them singing. And sometimes there'll be like the hungover guy waking up that's still just not quite with the times, and he'll yell and be kind of pissed off, but they don't care and they just keep singing. It's
That's
great.
amazing. So you moved to New York when you were 17,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
And you started as a photographer, and you became friends with Dash Snow very early on. Who's
yeah.
like this amazing artist who died over an overdose early on.
Super early on at the Lafayette House. I actually just framed and hung a Dash Snow piece yesterday in the house. I didn't have to put too much work up, and it was one of the things to do with the downtime. It was rainy yesterday, and it makes me super happy to see it every day.
He was a great artist.
He's amazing, amazing, such a legend. I feel very fortunate. I feel like I was inspired by him and his kind of like Duchamp mentality about making work. It was very courageous. So I think without even realizing, I hopefully absorbed some of that courage.
So when you moved to New York, you knew right away you're gonna work as an artist, even when you were 17.
Totally. I think I had my first group show when I was 18. So it formulated itself naturally and rather quickly.
Yes, you also had a lot of supporters early on, like Beth Woody or Nico Schnabel
Totally.
or James Franco.
Yeah, people were really receptive to the work, and I think they believed. I mean, I find myself doing the same thing for younger artists. You just always want to believe in supporting people. It's the best thing. Kind of self-perpetuates your own momentum as well.
Yeah, it's a beautiful thing to do that, from like to really help in an early stage and support in an early stage. It gives so much back.
So much.
Yeah, even Gogosian bought a work of yours, right?
Yes, definitely, definitely. My friend Cook, he curated my first show, and he kind of helped make that deal happen. He got one, and Larry got one. It's very, very cool. I mean, I'm always.
How old were you then?
I think I was 25. Yeah.
Amazing.
Wow.
And when did you have your first solo show in New York?
When I was just a year before that, in 2012, it was at this project space. Gloria Naftali had her space on the 9th floor in her building. You know, she owns this beautiful building, and she converted. I think she even sold a Richter painting so that she could convert the top floors into a hospital for her husband before he passed away, just so that it was easier to treat him. And I think it did substantially prolong his life, which is such a cool,
Wow.
like, you hear so many stories of people using money well, and that's definitely one of them. And so she had this open space, and she was letting other artists use it as well. And she gave me the opportunity to have a show in that space, which is really amazing. She's such a wonderful woman, Gloria.
That's amazing. So a lot of works are also inspired by, film, Hollywood films, especially the sunsets. And you've also premiered a movie last year in Venice. It was your first big feature
it's my first feature film.
Which you have written and produced and directed.
Yeah, well, I wrote it and directed it, and then Olmo, he's the producer. But our company, we made a production company, and that company is the production company for the film. We have some really good partners. It's amazing.
So you've actually started a production company for the movie.
Yeah, and we've just finished a second film that Alejandro Castro directed and wrote, and he also stars in. It's very exciting. It was actually filmed in Madrid, and we have a documentary that Gray Sorrenti is doing called Holy Blocks, which is very, very cool, and I'm really excited to see that. It's interesting being on the side of documentaries. Steffi loves documentaries, so I watch them more often now, and it makes me realize how valuable it is of a medium.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
They're so cool. They're so cool. What's actually fascinating though is one of the EPs on our film was also involved in a documentary we just watched. I'm blanking on its name. Oh yeah, of course, Free Solo. And that film was really actually quite expensive because it used so many cameras and was really tech heavy and filmed over a long time. So it's actually funny to think that documentaries are originally considered to be less expensive, but now with independent films costing so much less, a documentary could actually cost much more than the average independent film. So I'm just learning about all this stuff. It's super cool.
That's amazing, but it has also affected the film industry. What about your movie?
Oh man, so many. Yeah, we were premiering, I think in 4 days or in 6 days. We were supposed to be premiering in New York. That would be our North American premiere at Tribeca Film Festival.
That's really sad.
It's super sad, and they're offering lots of alternatives and stuff, but it's not. We're gonna just wait it out, and we have a good team at CAA, and they're looking after the movie, and we just kind of let them lead the way in a sense.
Well, let's look at some of your works. I'm excited to see your new studio. I've only been to the one in the Bronx, which is amazing.
Oh man,
I miss that space.
I miss it, dude. But although Steffi knocked down this wall now and in the Bronx, so the downstairs, it's really got way more light. The kitchen and the fireplace room is all one zone, and we're gonna get some tile. I think if I push this button, switches the camera. Okay, so yeah, there's some new work. So these are 3 paintings that are almost finished that I'm getting ready for my next show at Gulsa in Norway.
Is
which I'm
that
just,
happening?
well, the show is postponed and we don't know the date. And right now, the next show I have is with Alex Duve in Berlin, which would be in September. And I think that's still on. So here, let me get this, my wonderful hiding in plain sight cart.
Beautiful color.
It's great. It's purple, one of my favorite colors, and also was purchased by my mom. So it's got good juju. So this is my largest, well, actually it's my first horizontal oriented, like Hawaiian painting. And I'm really feeling it. It took me a lot to make it because I kind of combined several of my other paintings to make it. And so I started using my own paintings to form the language when they originally came from my shirts. So now they've kind of evolved. These are little, like the
How long
evolution.
is the painting?
It's a,
It looks huge,
yeah,
massive.
yeah, it's also kind of in an homage. It's like kind of 24. It's right after when Kobe Bryant died. I think was when I started making this painting. So I thought that was actually a coincidence, but I liked it.
Wow.
And then I have this simple mountainscape that I was debating on adding a little bit of a black gesture here, but I prefer it like this. There's something I can look at it forever, which I think is an important aspect of work for me. And then
I like that.
I've got
These are beautiful.
some more sunsets going on. Some of
So
these
these
real
are oil on canvas.
Yeah, these are oil on canvas, and then some of them I did this move where I put acrylic over oil, and then it flakes up, which is really nice. Yeah, I've left it outside in the rain, and then it makes it a really nice. Although the framing will have to be then put into like a box frame, but that's okay.
Can you show it again from like a little further away?
Yeah, yeah. I'll step on this chair.
Okay, amazing. Wow, I love this one.
Me too. It's beautiful, and what's crazy is that the flakes and everything, it gives it a lot of depth. There's something about the painting, I really like it. And also using the greens, I've been really getting into green again. I've been looking at a lot of old Guston paintings. He's one of my favorite painters, and he uses green rarely. Sometimes he does these crazy green orange combos, which I really love. You can see here, this is like, sometimes what's weird is I'll make a study for a painting, and I'll actually start out making a really big one, which is maybe counterintuitive, but I like doing it somehow. And then there are these.
Wait, I think you have to turn the camera around again. Are you? Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
No, the other way.
And then, no, you're good. And then this is like kind of like a painting
Are
of.
these new?
These are new. This is like a kind of. We did this one. We had one when we had the Here Come the Warm Jets in Miami. I was really inspired by these things that are like tailings from airplanes. So it's like this idea that there's some either, I don't even know whether it's you're on the coast and there's like a bunch of airstrips there, or maybe it's a cruiser. I just really liked it. And again, you can see then with the green and the orange getting inspired by the Guston vibes. And then underneath we have a little bit of a simpler one that's really just more basic. Let me step on the chair.
I love the color palette also of these.
Oh man, me too. I mean, what's funny is now I've taken stock and rationed for all of my materials, so I can last through the whole time, even if I have to like use more basic things like gouache. I mean, not to call gouache basic, but it's more of a studied material for me. And then since we last spoke, I just started jamming on this new guy, which will be my first time where I put 5 paintings together to form kind of like a panoramic, like diorama thing.
Are these drawings?
Well, they're just it's just there. Yeah. I'm just doing the underpainting now. So I kind of do it all freestyle because it's not coming from a reference. Again, it's like combining different moments within shirt paintings that I had before into one moment. So I kind
But
of,
it's also interesting to tell that you're not painting really from photographs, right?
yeah,
So
now there's no photographs anymore. The reference is all in my head, which is interesting because sometimes the paintings with references are actually easier because you know when it's finished and there's more of a thing. When it's in your mind, it becomes, I think, more painterly in that sense that you're always kind of debating. So if you can see, I'm always, let me see where I can get my finger in frame. I'm always thinking about the composition over the shape of the entire rectangle. And I think that comes a lot from starting out in photography, where you're thinking about like what is in frame and what's not in frame, and in like the overall composition of things. I'm trying to think if I have any other cool little jammers in here. I started making some like wood block printing, which I'm excited about because I just like that technology. It's so simple, and it's the way that I can reproduce work, which I think is always super cool. I made these with my mom when she was here. My mom and my dad came, I think, the day they announced coronavirus in Spain. So they were here for one day, like kind of normal, and
just
the
to
rest,
see the baby.
yeah, just to see the baby, and then they were in lockdown. It was kind of sad. They weren't even really. I mean, I was being very much already a protective parent and not really wanting anyone to see Sai during the quarantine.
But this is great.
Yeah,
I like this.
I know that's why it's like these. This is where that painting came from, and so eventually I will make a larger version of these. But there's still, I mean, it's been a lot of fun, and I can feel the difference in the paintings just based on painting here versus painting in New York. It's funny how so many people talk about artist times in Europe, and now I'm finally having it myself.
Yeah. Do you want to tell us a little bit about the sunset paintings, how they first started? Because
Yeah,
you originally became famous for your duck tests, the smiley, the
yeah,
shaped canvas smileys, which we've also shown at the gallery, I think 3.5 years ago at the opening, right?
yeah. At the
I'll show you
inaugural show.
one.
Oh yeah, well, so basically, if you think about it, this as an icon in cinema, it's always shown in a way of basically showing resolution or peace or like a happy ending, and I just love that. I'm still if you whenever you if you ever are able to, when it comes out, watch my film, that it's kind of got a pretty intense ending, but it's still supposed to be kind of a positive thing, and I find that that's the best thing about sunrises and sunsets. You know, it's good to be aware that we are all these objects just rotating around a much larger mass, as well as that, you know, there's just this constant reaction happening, and it's going to last for about, I forget the number, but I think it has like 36 zeros. So the sun is going to be there for a really long time. And I find that very relaxing and comforting.
Well, it also stands for like beginning and end, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's what I mean. Like, you'll see it in The Lion King. You see it at the end of True Romance. I mean, I think I would say majority of films have that iconic image in it. Whether it's one, I mean, my mom was just sending me pictures of my cousin's place in Israel. She's in the Israeli Philharmonic, and it just looks incredible how classic just that little crescent shape. So I think when I made the duck test, I made the duck tests and the tank and the sunset all in the same moment. They were all kind of conceived on the same pieces of paper, and then the duck test went straight to just being material, and then the sunsets were done in watercolor and then in that sugar paper, like construction paper, and then I later did it on the tarpaulin and vinyl and like the trucker siding and stuff.
Yeah. Well, amazing, Greer. Thank you so much for your time.
Oh man, thank you so much. It's so nice to jam, and it's great to interact with technology. I realize that that's why
Yeah, it's working.
house party and all these things are blowing up, because it's nice to be connected with people.
By the way, I have one of your really early works here, which is one of my favorites. Hold on, where is it?
Let me see.
Um,
Oh man, I love that one. Also, that one's
yeah.
super rare. It's got the war cloth on it. That cloth is from World War
Yeah,
II.
and the fireworks, you know, the
Yeah,
fireworks. So
totally.
it's one of, yeah.
So nice, that piece.
Anyways, good talking to you, and let's speak soon. Stay safe in Spain.
Definitely stay safe, and everybody stay safe.
Someone's asking, bring your artwork to Mexico.
Oh man, I would love that. I would love that. I love Mexico. My friend Nick Farr, his wife is from there, and it's one of my favorite places ever. It was one of my first actual trips with Steffi was in Mexico. It's a wonderful, wonderful place. I'm working on something with my friend Sai, who's the namesake of my son. So one day, hopefully, there will be some work down there. I do have some
But
prepared
also,
work.
you've done a big outdoor piece in Mexico City.
I do. I have a big outdoor work in Coyoacan. Yeah, it's called I think it's called Action and Adventure or Momentum and something. But it's a beautiful work. It's like kind of it feels a little bit. I think my friend Larkin said it was like Max Bill-esque, which I think is interesting. I love Max Bill.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Take
All right.
care. Thank you.
I'll see you guys later.
You
Bye.
soon. Bye.